Don't quit on your first day. So recently I tested a new job and I thought I'd tell you about my first day, as I had many different thoughts in my mind whether this was the place for me or not. So for context, I had taken my truck driving license to find work as a garbage trucker. That was the only truck driving job that I was really interested in, because even though you will drive plenty, you will move your body even more, and you have to leave the truck at every stop to empty the garbage bins. As a healthy fitness interested guy, this seemed to suit me more than jobs where you sit in the truck for a whole day driving far away. This job is local and I get home on time to be able to do all my hobbies, be with my family, and even get some sun after work. In my main profession as a plumbing consultant, which has been the main goal to get back to as soon as the market seems better, you have deadlines that creep in the back of your mind on your spare time. Even though you might have put in some extra hours, anything can happen while the customer receives the blueprint, and if anything is missing, then you are sure to feel the stress to get the last pieces done before the day after. So even after a work day, you are not completely free from work unless you have the ability to let go and leave the work at your office. This job as a garbage trucker was to be a short-term solution for income, at least for some time, while the world seems upside down and you have to change workplace to keep yourself afloat. But I'm so glad now that I have the truck driving license, so if I get unemployed again from the building sector, I always have a good job to come back to. People will never stop to throw trash, and if I get bored with plumbing and ventilation, or need a break from deadlines with blueprints, I might just switch back to this again, because even though it's hard work physically, I'm mentally relaxed. So about day one. As always on your first day, there can be some nerves, and if you have been jobless for a while, you might not be used to keeping a strict schedule, and go up as early as you have to now. We are starting at 6 a.m., and mornings have always been my Achilles heel. I'm just a wreck in the mornings, with no sense of time, and this has always been the case for me. Then there is the social part. How will they greet me? How will I be perceived? Can I do the job and still be socially relaxed? Now I'm soon to be 32 years old, so this does not affect me as much as it has done in the past. But still, a bad work environment with non-friendly colleagues can drain your energy faster than anything, because you're forced to be there even if your mood is off. All the impressions alone can be exhausting on your first day, and at the same time, you have to do the work. Pumped up and excited to make money, I started my first trainee day with a force inside me, but with the knowledge that anything can twist my mood during the day. So this is how it went. The first hours went well, or as well as one could hope at least. Some of the colleagues were somewhat inviting, and others were rather quiet, but at the same time I can expect no more from them than what I give myself socially, and we don't know each other at all at this point. The only impression I had at this time was a good communication with the boss and the temporary boss when we talked on the phone or sent emails, so I had a rather good feeling from what information I had. I was to jump in the trucks with one of the colleagues, and it would not take long before we could have an easy conversation, so at this point everything has gone rather smooth. But then later I had some doubts. The morning tiredness sneaked up on me, but it was manageable. But I failed on my first attempt with the bin lift on the back of the truck, and the physical part was harder than I've imagined, because as a fit guy I was confident that I would manage this fine, and so I did, but my muscles in my legs are not used to intervals, even though jogging to the bins is not far, but you do it 400 times in a day, and then you use your arms and legs to pull yourself into the truck. I felt that tonight I was going to be exhausted, and I could just imagine how it would be after a couple of days. I started to have doubts. Maybe I would be too slow with the bin lift, and never would be able to recover from the physical part that is running and pulling the bins to then lift and empty the bins. Then I had to learn navigation while driving to all the spots on the map. The others seemed to find every spot in a hurry, even without GPS. I thought the days would be very long when I was to do everything by myself in the future, and that I would not be finished with all the bins in time for the end of the shift, so that I would have to work more hours just to get it all done. For a moment it all became overwhelming, and I was considering giving up for that hour during the first day. But then suddenly, I got the hang of it. A little bit better for every hour, and so the next day it kind of went on autopilot, and I asked my coworker how one is able to recover physically from all this running, pulling and jumping, and his answer made me relax even more. He said, "Your body will adapt very fast. The soreness you feel tonight might not be gone tomorrow, but after a couple of days it's like the body resets itself and you will start to recover faster." This got me remembering how it was when me and my best friend were heading up the country to climb our highest mountain. It was very far to walk with a 30-kilo bag on my back. Those first 2 days were ruthless, but then on the third day it was like one was weightless and could walk as far as one had had to without any problems with the recovery. The second trainee day as a garbage trucker, I thought to myself, I can't believe I doubted myself in this work yesterday, and now I know how to do it. Yeah, I was absolutely ripped when I got home. I can tell you now, 2 weeks in, that you will recover and get used to the hours and hard work relatively fast. So that made me excited to make this video and tell you about this experience, so I could tell you to not give up on your first day or even your third, because you might just be better at it sooner than you think, and that will make you proud. As David Goggins says, even though I'm not the biggest fan of his philosophies, he mentions that he gets his confidence from past achievements, evidence that show that he is capable of something. Even though there is doubts, he can use his past experience to know that if he could handle that, he can handle this thing that is in front of him. Looking back now 2 weeks into my trainee time, I can tell you that I had to take long rest and go to bed early to catch up on some lost sleep during the first 3 days. I also made sure to stretch, and that made all the difference in the world, so I was ready for the next day with a rested body. I was able to make such progress that I will now get paid for my trainee time for doing employee tasks and working overtime. Plus, I got hired starting Monday, with many thanks to recommendations from my coworkers. It might come across as bragging, but who cares since you don't know me? The main part I want to highlight with this video is that I started with hopes and I was early to doubts, but with little time and effort, I got success. If I had given up, I would be back on square one and never have gotten this experience. Who knows, I might have given up and never come back. Some things one have to give if just a little bit of time to really know what it's like and what you are capable of. Thanks for listening to this little story. It's not a massive success story, but it is success on the first small step to reach my bigger dreams. A detour that can actually work out and help me on my journey forward. It would gladden me if you liked and subscribed or shared something you have learned in similar situations in the comments below. So until next video, ciao.